welcome to Stingray, Tom's Florida, and another animal story. I'm once again looking at the American alligator, and before I go any further, I want to mention that as the title suggests, this is about a legal hunt for alligators. While I won't show anything particularly graphic, especially since YouTube doesn't like that, if you dislike hunting, this might not be the best video for you. I was invited to join a group of 7 hunters for a long night of dark work. While I've been around gators much of my life, this was the first time I'd ever gone on a gator hunt. I met the group in Palm Beach County at the stormwater treatment area located near the Loxahatchee National Wildlife Refuge. It's one of the approved areas in southeast Florida where it's legal to go after gators during the hunting season. It was a very interesting experience. We met around 6 p.m. and finished up about 6 hours later. In this video, I'll show you parts of the hunt while talking about the processes of getting permission to hunt and how the gator went from extremely abundant to highly endangered back to being abundant in Florida. It's a rare and remarkable success story from the list of endangered animals in the U.S. and speaks to why the American alligator and its cousins, the other crocodilians, are the most successful and numerous apex predators in the world. Until we get to the hunting itself, I'm showing videos of close encounters I've had with gators in the wild, as well as some examples of white gators that live in a number of Florida's gator farms. In case you're unfamiliar with the term apex predator, simply put, it's a predator at the top of the food chain in its habitat and who doesn't have natural predators of its own. By the way, most every animal we consider to be an apex predator is something humans have killed for food, skins, or fun. However, humans aren't considered an apex predator themselves because, given the chance, plenty of apex predators would kill and eat humans, including lions, tigers, and bears, sharks, wolves, and obviously alligators and crocodiles. Ironically, while killer whales have been thought of as dangerous to humans since antiquity, there's not a single report of a killer whale killing a human in the wild. Yes, they've caused several deaths in aquariums, but in none of those cases was there any evidence that they were attempting to eat the person. The list of humans killed by animals each year is dominated by 2 species, mosquitoes and humans. Clearly, it's not the mosquito that kills, but the diseases they carry in their saliva. As for humans, we seem to be the only species that kills its own with such regularity and with such satisfaction. When it comes to animals that attack humans and eat them, crocodiles and alligators top the list, though most of that happens in Africa and Asia, where people aren't able to take the same precautions that we can in the U.S. I don't really want to go too deep into the weeds when it comes to comparing apex predators, but let's take a quick look at some of the most significant. Here's a list of the 7 largest ones, the species that are easily the most dangerous in the world. Starting with the lion. Full-grown males regularly reach 500 pounds. Tigers are a bit larger. The semi-aquatic polar bear can pass 1,700 pounds, while the 2 other semi-aquatic predators, gators and crocodiles, pass even that. We then get into the 2 sea creatures, where size and especially weight falls under different rules. Great white sharks and killer whales are the biggest and baddest predators in the world. Imagine a tiger the size of a killer whale. That being said, the relative sizes of these predators aren't what's really important. It's actually their population sizes in the wild. Now, when looking at the numbers, I should say that these are contemporary populations. Historic populations, before such things as habitat loss, climate change, and hunting, would have been larger. So take a look at the numbers. Only 2 are more than 50,000, even though they all range over millions of miles of native habitat. But as you can see, crocodiles, and especially the American alligator, have huge numbers. The crocodile listed here is just the largest species, known as the saltwater crocodile of coastal southern Asia and northern Australia. Now, much of Africa is home of the other large and populous croc, the Nile crocodile, which is a freshwater species rather than saltwater. The most recent estimates suggest that there's 250 to 400,000 of them, easily doubling the number of large crocs in the wild. By the way, Florida has its own saltwater crocodile. It's smaller than its cousins in Africa and Asia, and it's much rarer too. Unlike gators, American crocodiles are quite sensitive to cold temperatures, which means that they're only happy in the southernmost reaches of the state, primarily Florida Bay and the Keys. They are also found throughout the Caribbean, the northern coast of South America, and both coastlines of Central America. The total population is hard to count, but it's estimated that there's about 5,000, with maybe 1,000 in Florida. 1,000 massive killing machines might be impressive until you compare it to gators. Today, Florida has an estimated 1.3 million of them, with the total population reaching 5 million. Its range is from Texas in the west to South Carolina in the north, though the bulk of them are in Louisiana and Florida. Let that sink in. 5 million American alligators, with 1.3 million just in the Sunshine State. The alligator is not only the world's most numerous large apex predator, but with the exception of white-tailed deer, it's the most common large animal in the U.S. That population number shows the result of a remarkable rebound in the history of the gator in the past 50 years. As soon as Florida started to be settled by Europeans, the gator became the target of hunters. Both its skin and its meat proved popular, and as the population of the settlers grew, so did the number of gators killed. By the late 1800s, they were hunted at an unsustainable rate, as hunting was widespread throughout Florida during this time. The U.S. Fish Commission issued a report which estimated that at least 2.5 million alligators were killed in Florida between 1880 and 1890. The report went on to say, quote, that a skillful hunter could easily secure 600 alligators in 2 or 3 weeks. At that time, most of the hide trade was centered in Jacksonville, which allowed gator skins to be sent to the rest of the U.S. as well as to Europe. The trade was one of Florida's largest exports. While alligator farms began around that time, they captured wild gators and raised them until they were large enough. The collection of eggs was reasonably simple. Of course, that means that each clutch of eggs, which could number anywhere from 20 to 80, were removed from the wild. By the mid-20th century, wild population numbers had drastically changed. We don't have numbers of how many gators were in the wild for most of Florida's history, though it's generally thought historic populations were similar to current populations. It wasn't until the 1960s that basic population studies were conducted and the results were considered shocking. It's estimated there were as few as 100,000 gators in the state, and hunting was unregulated. While at that time gators weren't close to extinction, the population was certainly on the decline and the numbers were nowhere near historic numbers. Concern among federal wildlife officials was high enough that gators were listed as endangered in the 1966, 69, and 73 versions of federal endangered species legislation, which put in place strong restrictions against hunting as well as other direct conservation efforts. The gator was one of the first animals protected under federal Endangered Species Acts, and it was one of the first to be removed from the list due to its rapid recovery. With the strong protections in place, gator numbers grew rapidly in much of the historic range, especially in Florida. Through the 1970s and 80s, Florida wetlands remained abundant. By the late 80s, the gator population had rebounded to levels that were considered healthy and appeared to be stable. At the same time, gators began to be considered pests in the parts of Florida that were rapidly developing. That's the irony of the situation that Florida finds itself in today. While the gator population is at healthy and stable levels, habitat loss is a growing concern. The more people move to Florida, the more the state feels the need to remove gators from the lakes and rivers, due to potential dangers to humans who don't understand the risk of coming face to face with a gator. To be clear, gators overwhelmingly eat fish. They are ambush predators, which means they lie in wait until dinner comes to them. Frankly, any human attacked and killed by a gator is simply in the wrong place. While I feel horrible for victims and their families, the vast majority of death by gator in the past 50 years has been preventable by the humans involved. Anyway, due to the numbers of gators in Florida, as well as the encroachment of human activities on traditional gator habitats, the state began to allow the capture and hunting of gators by the 1980s. There are professional hunters and trappers who work in the state to deal with nuisance gators. There's no reason to discuss that here, but I might try to cover them in a future video. Let me know if you'd be interested. Just know that not all the nuisance gators are killed. Many are turned over to the gator farms in the state. Now on to the hunting of gators. The state regulates hunting and has two forms. There's the trapping and hunting of nuisance gators, which can be done all year long. And then there's a lottery system. That's for the statewide recreational hunting season, which runs from August through November each year. To take part in the annual harvest, people need a trapping license, a harvest permit, and 2 alligator hide validation CITES tags. CITES stands for Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. It's an international agreement to protect endangered plants and animals from the threats of international trade. The tags which the state provides are directly connected to CITES, so they can be tracked internationally. To get the license and tags, people apply for the lottery managed by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, more commonly and helpfully called FWC. Due to the healthy numbers of gators in the state, FWC established an annual recreational alligator harvest in 1988. For the past 37 years, FWC has managed the program, provided the hunters with information about how to hunt safely and successfully, and promoted gator meat and tanned hides to the public. Each year, alligator management units are established with harvest quotas that provide recreational opportunities and maintain alligator populations at targeted levels. The permits provide 2 types of opportunities. One is for a specific county and the other is for a specific harvest unit. The county-wide permits allow people to hunt in one of 65 of Florida's 67 counties. Miami-Dade and Monroe counties are exempt. FWC leaves it up to the applicants to decide where they're going to hunt before applying. The permit allows for hunting gators in most public bodies of water within that county. It also allows for hunting on private property with the landowner's permission. The only primary restriction is that it doesn't allow hunting in what are known as specific harvest units. Now, there are 67 harvest units which allow permit holders to hunt within a specific lake, impoundment, or section of river. This might sound complicated, but unless you plan to apply for a permit, it's not that important. The permits allow the holder to hunt during one of 4 weeks at the start of the season. During the season, hunting is allowed 24 hours a day, with some hunters preferring daytime hunting while others like the dark. The permit holders I joined held permits to hunt in a stormwater treatment area, or STA. The various STAs are weekend-only hunts, with hunting hours between 5 p.m. and 10 a.m. STAs are constructed wetland impoundments designed to reduce the amount of phosphorus going into the Everglades. There isn't any particular advantage or disadvantages where permit holders choose to hunt. Now, the most important part of getting a permit is that there are only so many available each year. On average, about 7,000 gator permits are issued through random drawings, and there are often more than 15,000 applicants. The lottery drawings are used to provide a fair way to issue permits. They cost $272 for Florida residents and $1,022 for non-residents. Because there's many more applicants than gator permits available, many people form groups of 5 or more permit applicants so that they can hunt each year. I'm now going to play a couple clips from the FWC to explain the equipment allowed and method of catching gators.
Legal methods of take for alligator hunting in Florida include bows, crossbows, air bows, gigs, harpoons, spears, and spear guns. It is important to note that all points used in any of these methods of take must be attached to a restraining line. Fishing rods using weighted treble hooks or artificial lures are also legal, as well as hand-line snatch hooks and handheld devices with an adjustable catch loop, such as catch poles. If you want to use bait, you must wrap it around a wooden peg that is less than 2 inches long. It is unlawful to use a hook when you are using bait, and you must remain in contact with the bait by holding onto the other end of the line at all times. Because alligators are not classified as game animals, electronic recorded game calls and sounds may be used when hunting alligators. A bang stick is the only firearm you are allowed to use in Florida to take an alligator, and it can only be used when an alligator is attached to a restraining line. Once you have an alligator on the line and alongside your boat, it's recommended you use a bang stick to humanely dispatch it. The next step is to slip an adjustable catch loop over the alligator snout and pull it tight so the mouth cannot open. Use a catch pole or similar device to pull the alligator's head over the side of the boat. Then take a stick-like object and push down on the alligator snout to further prevent its mouth from being able to open. Carefully and quickly grab the side of the jaw and apply enough pressure to keep its mouth completely shut. Then wrap the snout tightly and securely with electrical or duct tape. Immediately after the alligator is dead, you must attach your alligator CITES tag within 6 inches of the tip of its tail. Cut a slit through the tail, slide the tag through the slit, and securely lock the tag. Make sure to pull hard on the tag to confirm it's locked securely.
Now, many hunters use boats to get into the inaccessible parts of various lakes and waterways, but it's perfectly fine to hunt from the shore and is actually pretty easy to do so in the STAs, as you'll see. So let's head to Palm Beach County and one of the STAs there. Like many sites, it's an easy drive from the city and is a great place to check out wildlife, including gators, during the day. We all met up in the STA and transferred what we needed to a truck since all the waterways have dirt roads alongside them. Our first stop was at this small dam. Luckily for me, it was still daylight, so I was able to get video of the process of trying to catch a gator and bring it to the shore. This day we were trying to catch a gator with fishing poles and large hooks. The hooks wouldn't penetrate into the armored skin of a gator, so the hope is that it will catch under an arm or in some place that held the gator well enough. A second fishing pole is usually needed to get the gator to the shore.
Right now he's kind of just going straight down. You're going to be better off staying here. Okay. Yeah, I think he's all the way up there by that concrete. Yeah, I don't know how I missed him on the first day. I got some line.
I was kind of wondering. I cast it and I knew I didn't have the distance, so I pulled short on it so I don't spook him.
Yeah, he's inside that concrete. He's still bringing him out some though.
Okay. got the current working in our favor.
Yeah. But he's definitely just holding bottom right now. No, like I say, he's right up there in the dam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, your best bet would be to go to the dam and then cast to me.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, he's right at that concrete.
So I'm gonna try to scoop him out too.
I'll try to get a second hook in him.
This attempt was unsuccessful, and it'd be nearly midnight before the real action began. We eventually split up to cover more ground and spent hours gazing into the canals with head-mounted lights, looking for the reflective eyes that peer from just above the water surface. We saw plenty of gators, but they were usually too small or too far away for the fishing poles to reach. Finally, after we regrouped and were slowly driving along one of the roads, a likely gator was spotted. We jumped off the truck and the first line was cast.
Anybody?
Give me spotlight on John's line. Fine light.
I can just feel it rubbing, and I just can't tell. Yeah, I'd say come on the right side of me. Where's my line here? Oh, he's a good one.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Here you go. Chuck it on something. Oh, here you go. Here you go.
How's he got?
I think he's like 9 something.
Here, wait. Maybe.
He's got a good head on him. He's the best one this year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's nice. He might be 10. I'd say if you got 2 tags, I would say take that one and then get another one. That's a nice gator though. Dude, nice job.
Strong.
Way better than I thought he was.
There's the roll.
Yep.
He's strong.
Where we at? Want me to grab his tail?
Come on.
Can you hold this?
Yep.
I'm about to grab his tail. Or Rodman.
Yeah. Or Gabe, it's your tag, man.
Oh, you like gotta. Yeah, I was gonna say pushing into him like that. Don't do it.
That looks like a good spot. You got tape hooked in there too?
I have tape in my pocket, I think. Oh, big boy.
Thanks for the invite. Thanks for coming on.
Oh no. 9, 5 and change.
9.5?
9.6.
No, he's gonna do that. I say I could separate his whole spine.
Gators.
I don't know. We had one that we thought was freaking gone, and it
Just walked up. And we were like in disbelief. And then
Thank you for watching another of my videos. I hope you learned something. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to learn more about Florida's tourism history. Stingray Tom's Florida, traveling through time around the Sunshine State.